Hi everyone, welcome to the September 2024 net worth update. Before I get into the numbers, my name is Mona. I live in a high cost of living area, which is New York City. I live in the borough, Queens. I am a homeowner. I am single, and I also have a child, just one child. She also is special needs or has a disability. I work within human resources in the financial services industry in Manhattan. And that's a bit of background about me. And let's get into the numbers now. So my September 2024 net worth is $718,472.59. That's an increase of $15,809.42 from the prior month. I was actually very, very happy to see a positive change for September because September historically is a negative month from like an investment perspective. So I was anticipating my net worth going down actually for September, but very pleasantly surprised to see that it went up. So let's get into the numbers and see what happened. So starting with my assets, my Bank of America check-in, that balance for September is $469.05. That's an increase of $93.47 from the prior month. The Bank of America checking account I use as my daily account for expenses on a month-to-month basis. So the balance in this account is essentially irrelevant because it essentially all gets used up for the month's expenses. So the balance that's here will get used for expenses in the month of October. Hopefully that's clear, but typically it's typically $4,400, $4,500 per month that's in this account. All right, moving on to my Ally savings account. Ally is a high yield savings account, although with the Fed cutting interest rates, they've already cut the interest rate down to 4%. But it's still a decent amount. Balance in that account is $2,279.20. That's a decrease of $16,729.37. If you're wondering what happened, you can check out my other videos or last week's videos, but I did completely deplete my emergency fund as well as my kiddos' able account sinking fund to start my lock journey and also to invest more aggressively into my brokerage account. I know it was very controversial what I did, and everyone has their own opinion and thoughts depending on their point of view, but that's essentially why my Ally savings account went down dramatically in terms of the balance. But I'm working on over time slowly building it back up to replenish my emergency fund and then also to replenish my kiddos' sinking fund for her able account. Okay, moving on to the portfolio, move it over to the 401k. The balance is $280,819.93. That's an increase of $5,849.09 from the prior month. This is all growth because I maxed out the 401k back in March, so I haven't been able to contribute directly to it. So very happy to see that over a $5,000 increase from the prior month, and my 401k is 100% invested in the S&P 500. Moving over to the Roth IRA, balance is $39,808.28. That's an increase of $685.04 from the prior month. For Roth IRA, similar to the 401k, I maxed it out in March, so haven't been able to contribute directly to the Roth IRA, so this is all growth. Very, very happy with this increase from month to month. Moving over to the brokerage account, so this is where the magic, or most of the magic, happened. So balance on my brokerage account for September is $191,846.17. This means I'm officially less than $10,000 from hitting the $200,000 milestone, which would be so amazing. That's an increase of $22,972.72 from the prior month. So when I depleted my emergency fund, I put all the money into the brokerage account, as well as aggressively invest in when I got my mid-September paycheck. So most of this is actually my money, not necessarily growth from the brokerage account, but I really want to get this balance to $200,000 so I can truly start seeing the compound, investment returns on it. So that's where the brokerage account sits. And the brokerage account, I am invested in the S&P 500 is about 62% of the portfolio. SCHD is about 36%. And then I added a new holding, QQQM. That's about 1% of the portfolio. So that's the investment makeup. Moving over to the HSA, that's a health savings account. Balance on that is $28,044.89. That's an increase of $1,152.80, which is fantastic. The HSA, I do contribute directly to it through my employer. So I have monthly amounts get taken out. It's a little over $500 per month that goes into the HSA from my paycheck. So it still had pretty decent growth, right? Even if you subtract 500 from this, that's still about $600 in growth on the HSA. So really loving the new heights the HSA is going. It's getting closer and closer to being a $30,000 balance, which, wow, that's absolutely amazing to have that much in the HSA. And I referenced this a bit earlier, but next account is the ABLE account. Balance in that account is $40,103.40. That's an increase of $809.54. ABLE it stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience, and it's an investment/checking account for individuals with disability. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I do have one child. She does have a disability. So I've been putting her money in an ABLE account versus something like a 529 because developmentally, I am not sure intellectually what she will be able to do or not do in the future. She's currently 5 years old. So there's a lot of development that can happen between 5 and 18 years old. So the ABLE account, regardless of her development, it can be used for anything that goes towards the care of her, including education. So if she is able to intellectually go to college or any type of trade school or learning program, I can leverage the ABLE account to pay for those costs. But as long as I'm working, I do plan to cash flow any current and future expenses for her from my paycheck. So really loving the increase here, and really also loving the fact that the balance is now in the 40s, which is fantastic. And then my final asset is my home. The value on that is $435,000. I'm keeping that value flat for the entire year of 2024. This is also the purchase price, just because I don't want to overestimate the value on my property. So if you add up all of my assets, it is $1,022,370.92. So that's an increase of $14,833.29 in my assets from the prior month. So very, very happy to see that. I hit 1 million in assets for the first time last month in August. So very happy to still be in the 1 million range and the balance just going up. And moving over to liabilities, I just have one liability. It's my mortgage. The balance on that is $303,898.33. So that's a decrease of $976.13 from the prior month. I am trying to aggressively pay off my mortgage. I have a 6.75 interest rate, but honestly, even if I had a 0 interest rate, I would still want to pay off my mortgage early. I'm not a big fan of debt. I don't like it in any capacity. So I'm just trying to chip away at the mortgage as much as I can, while also ensuring that I am still aggressively investing to make sure that my overall portfolio is growing. But I don't have any other debt. I don't have credit cards. I don't have a car. None of those type of debts. It's just the mortgage. So again, if you take my assets minus my liabilities, that's what gives me the net worth of $718,472.59. So that is all of the update for the month of September 2024. Let me know how your net worth went for the month, and I'll catch you in next month's video. Bye.